Hello everyone and welcome to Monday Mania, where we discuss everything that has happened in the world of triple threat promotions. I am your host, Cassie Willow. With me this week is Reno Phillips. We're discussing events between the 13th of September and the 20th of September this week. We had a PW Wrestlolympics promo package from Zero Channel. We also had Ronin Pro Season 6, Episode 11. I want to pose the question here today. Is Clownvis becoming a fan favourite? Despite his menacing look, he seems to be on a run of clean wins and doesn't seem to be doing anything to turn people against him. Frankie Rush picked up a big win over Nick Lincoln. This could be Rush's time to rise. The Kingdom had been waiting 2 weeks for their earned title shot, but face new champions as a result of Heavy Metal Samurai. I'm glad Warren and Bolek managed to keep the titles. I know that Reno will probably limit this match's rating due to a lack of build, but it was a heck of a fight between two top contenders in Ronin Pro. Masterclass doing all they could to give Masters the edge, helping him pick up the win. Over to you, Reno.
British Wolf versus Frank Shatter, 2 stars. Tasmania versus Clownvis, 3 stars. Frankie Rush versus Nick Lincoln, 3 stars. Isaac Thompson versus Riley Kingston, 2 stars. Ronin Pro Tag Team Championship match. The Kingdom versus Gabriel Warren and Nikita Bolek, 3 stars. Paul Masters versus Big Bushido, 4 stars.
We had World Championship Cause, Blockbuster 14. King of the Ring tournament match up first. One that spent more time on the outside of the ring than in. Tensions are flaring in the Iron Lassies. I hate to see it, but Brittany Beth seems jealous of Kathy Cross's latest success. A hard-hitting women's match next. Saint's sister showed up after the match, and a brawl broke out between them. Bone's mouth seems to be writing himself some more checks. Victor Wolf was down on the concrete. I've got to assume this has something to do with the DNA results we're waiting for. Iron Lassies would face Mia's Problem Solvers. Beth would abandon Cross at the start of the match, leaving Cross in essentially a 3 versus 1 handicap match. After a valiant attempt from Cross, MPS would pick up the win and further lay in an attack after the match. Over to you, Reno.
Gaucho Misterioso versus Nathan Sanders, 4 stars. Sprinkle Star versus Jessica Saint, 4 stars. Iron Lassies versus Mia's Problem Solvers, 4 stars.
Now let's move on to Ronin Pro Fight Club Season 6, Episode 11. Some solid matches on the card. A really good match between Yuri and Aquino Day. Nothing much to report as they're getting back to the rankings after Heavy Metal Samurai. I've had another thought on my continuing unintended analysis on Ronin Pro. The win-loss on the intro cards is all well and good, but I think being able to see where the two opponents are in comparison with each other would be an easier visualization. You'd know who's fighting from underneath, and again, with maybe times they've fought one another, would go a long way to establishing the crux of a match when a rivalry isn't obvious. Heck, adding a personal issues with section would be even better. Over to you, Reno.
Brandon Phoenix versus Disco Beats, 2 stars. Airwolf versus Diego Sanchez, 2 stars. EQ Jones versus American Tiger, 2 stars. Nathan Landon versus Russ Sutton, 2 stars. Yuri versus Aquino Day, 3 stars. Gacy versus Auric Acid, 3 stars.
We had Zero Channel PWU Wrestlolympics. We then had the Ambitious Cup Battle Royal. The winner, Curry Vendetta, will go on to the Grizzly Tournament Finals event, where they will compete for the PWU National Men's Championship. They kicked things off straight away with the Unity Championships. A good, limitless Women's Championship match, Whiskers retaining. PWU then had their Men's 3TP Invitational Cup qualifier, in which we found out we'd see Archie Murray at the Invitational Cup. A really enjoyable main event. Over to you, Reno.
Unity Championships, The Memo versus Ruin the Business, 2 stars. Nicholas Cummings versus Mar Rivers versus Pachinko versus Zaim 2KO versus Evan Coleman versus Zavi Charter versus JKL versus Curry Vendetta, 2 stars. Limitless Women's Championship, Devi Leon Bell versus Diana Whiskers, 3 stars. Archie Murray versus King Rikimaru, 3 stars. Limitless Men's Championship, Shane Oliver versus Shinsui Clash, 2 stars. Jockey Miller versus Uncle Willie, 3 stars. Asia Lewis versus CJ Huntress versus Kikyo Michi versus Misty Storm versus Faith Aiko versus Nella versus Carmilla Noctum versus Cressidal McCoy, 2 stars. PWU National Women's Championship, Brooke Lynn versus Kaikara, 3 stars. PWU National Men's Championship, Rain Allen versus Brandon Sharp, 3 stars.
We had New Extremes Wrestling, Brawl number 377. Adam Irvin scored another win in the best of 7, one more win, and he's secured a win without losing a single match in the series. A draw in the injection division I'm hoping we see a rematch of. In the main event, we found out Whitney Palmer would be NEW's women's entrant for the 3TP Invitational Cup. The show went off-air with some cryptic interference in the feed. Reno, over to you.
New United Kingdom Championship Best of 7-3. Rico Carver versus Adam Irvin, 3 stars. Tasmania versus Sean O'Grady, 3 stars. Jade Phillips versus Whitney Palmer versus Long Bui versus Maria Misterioso, 3 stars.
All right, Reno. What about the weekly averages?
This brings the weekly averages to 3TP-4.1 stars. New Extremes Wrestling, 3.5 stars. Ronin Pro, 3.4 stars. Zero Channel, 3.2 stars. Color TV, 3.7 stars. WCC, 3.5 stars. Sidebar, 2.8 stars.
Well, that's all from us for this week's show. Links to all the Triple Threat promotion shows we've covered can be found in the description of this video or on 3TP.page. We'll be back next week for another Monday Mania, next Monday at noon UK time. We'll see you then.